Here we are for another episode of the Seasoned Amateurs just hanging out.
Yes.
Today we're going to talk about Saturday morning cartoons, and you're going to see us draw some,
Yes.
But not me. No drawing for me.
but not Tommy. Tommy's going to talk.
Oh,
He's
God.
going to do what he does best.
Talking Tommy.
Justin says, no Cowboys of Moo Mesa or Biker Mice from Mars in the thumbnail. Tisk, I'm out. I don't blame you.
Do we have a link for that? You have it posted on your Facebook or something?
You know what? I did not post on my Facebook. I was in a hurry this morning, and I created the broadcast and everything, but kind of had to rush off and do other things.
Just so I can find it off the old YouTube, and I'll push it out there for people who pay attention to that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just seen the YouTube go live. Come on. So
Yeah.
I am posting and tagging you guys right now.
Cool. I'm going to try out these new inks that Johnny got me for Christmas.
yeah.
Play with these today.
All right.
Thank you, Johnny. Again.
And I don't know what to draw, so if anybody out there, you mean I'll start sketching on something. Here we go.
Moon Mesa.
There you go. Cowboys of Moo Mesa and the Biker Mice from Mars, Johnny.
Yeah.
Like a Mike's Mars.
Versus the Cowboys of
I've
Moo
done
Mesa.
Biker Mice before.
I used to have a few of the Biker Mice toys.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh man. So where are we gonna start at as far as our talk of Saturday morning cartoons?
Well, let's talk about our favorites. What was your favorite, Johnny?
I had too many.
Yeah, too many. Well,
I had too many.
let's do top three.
Because I loved Saturday mornings, what I lived for, getting up, especially when I was young. Probably all-time favorite is, I have to put Scooby-Doo up there, because Scooby-Doo has been around for, 50, 60 years now.
I like that.
And I always, that's one show I always watched, especially when I was younger. Of course, Looney Tunes. Can't go wrong with Looney Tunes. And oh man, there's a lot, there's a ton of them that used to be on, and no problem. I can't even think a lot of them. Like I said, those two are the ones that come to mind because I always used to watch them every time. I don't know, probably Spider-Man. But I mean, like I said, I can't.
Which Spider-Man though?
The latter, the one in the 90s.
The one from the 90s? Yeah, that was an awesome series.
Yeah. Since we're talking Saturday mornings, does that discount like He-Man and stuff that came on during the weekdays and Batman the Animated Series?
Yeah, I'll count that.
You count those?
Yeah.
Okay, because if that was the case, then Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
I know when I said, of course, you had G.I. Joe, Transformers, Masters of the Universe, Silverhawks. All those are amazing.
Yeah.
And with the Batman came with all the other DC, and I enjoyed the Justice League. Yeah, then you had the superhero cartoons. Seemed like they just went during that time. They just upgraded. Just oof. Um, I know the Mighty Avengers cartoon. I love that one. Tommy actually, because he used to talk about it all the time.
Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was fantastic.
I thought that was amazing. That's probably one of the best Marvel ones. I remember I bought all those when they came out on DVD. Of course, you know, the X-Men. Can't go wrong with the X-Men. But yeah, I see. I'm naming off too many, more than three. My apologies, guys. So, uh, no, but what about you guys? I mean,
What you tell me?
Uh, I'm for me, I have a hard time mentally separating, kind of like Johnny there, from the Saturday morning cartoons versus the after school cartoons. Um, but you know, I, I used to watch, and I used to watch Ninja Turtles a whole lot. The first animated series, I watched a ton of that. Um, Muppet Babies is one that I don't think gets talked about enough today. That I enjoyed so much as a kid.
nice.
Did I loved that, and I think because of all the like film footage that they spliced into it and stuff like that, I assume there's probably like crazy licensing issues now, which is why the things like it's just not there anymore. Um, but I enjoyed that so much. Garfield and Friends was another one I loved when I was little. Um, that and the what was the was it U.S. Acres? Was that the the cartoon within the cartoon on Garfield? Not a cartoon that he watched, but that had like the segment from the farm.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was called, U.S. Acres. But I enjoyed that so much. Of course, I mean, as a kid, I watched countless episodes of Scooby Doo.
Yeah,
Um, I I was one of those kids that got suckered in, by all the cool toy commercial cartoons.
yeah,
I mean, He Man was it for me as a kid. Like as a little kid, that was the biggest thing in the world to me was He Man.
Yeah, yeah, same here.
I just I loved everything about it. I loved the fantasy slash superhero slash sci-fi aesthetic. And admittedly I was a pretty spoiled kid. I had a big He-Man collection, but I even had a good chunk of the She-Ra toys because to me it was all one thing. It was
Right.
just it was just another part of He-Man. Like I wasn't like, oh, these are girls' toys. I was like, well, yeah, I need a She-Ra to fight alongside He-Man. What are you talking about? you know. Um, Ghostbusters. I love the Ghostbusters cartoon.
which
Um,
one?
The real
The-
Ghostbusters, right?
The real
Yes.
Ghostbusters? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I enjoy the cartoon more than I do the Ghostbusters movies. To me, Egon Spengler has poofy white hair. It doesn't look like Harold Ramis. uh, so
Yeah, I have to
yeah,
throw in that trivia right there with Ghostbusters because I still remember the live action Ghostbusters used to come on Saturday mornings where they had the gorilla. They had Spencer, Tracy, and Kong. I think that's what they were named, and um, had their little theme song. The guy had kind of like a zoot suit. The other guy was looked like the skipper from Gilligan, and then you had a gorilla, and they went around chasing ghosts. So I remember that live action. It was kind of corny, but when you was a kid, you didn't care. You just hey, this is
well,
cool.
let's be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
if I don't know how much you guys have looked back at stuff we watched when we were a kid,
Oh yeah.
but most of it's corny. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, do you guys remember Captain Power?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yeah, I loved that show. But yeah, looking back at it, that was so cheesy. That was just so corny. I love that show. What about you, Jason?
Oh, I would have to say probably Silverhawks, Brave Star,
Mm-hmm.
the Thundercats, then kind of Spider-Man the animated series from the '90s, along with
Yeah.
Batman the animated series.
Oh yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, of course. Animaniacs, Tiny Toons,
Mm-hmm.
all those.
Tiny Toons is
Rocko's
fantastic.
Modern Life. Just a lot of weird stuff.
Those are some good ones.
Yeah, the last cartoon. I mean, like the cartoon that I probably watched just the most religiously was X-Men on Saturday mornings, and that came out just a couple of years after I seriously started getting into X-Men comics. Um, uh, and the I still think the animation is a little rough looking back at it now, but what they accomplished storytelling wise in that was very good. In line with the Spider-Man from the same time frame.
Of course.
And I honestly I wish Disney and Marvel would do something like that now. I would be more excited about giving me a Marvel animated universe with an X-Men series, a Spider-Man series, and an Avengers series more than I would be a whole bunch of live action shows. I think they could get into get into a deeper character roster easier and a little more comic accurate.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. I'd like to see something like that where they.
Nobody's concerned in a cartoon about how the costume looks on TV. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I like to see that too, Tom. I like to see an animated universe, and even where they try to even combine maybe some Disney style lies into some of that. I'd like to see how that would work out.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people are going the anime route, but I'd like to see them kind of take a break from that and maybe go a little more cartoon, kind of way they did Batman, because it kind of went to a very animated look, and it looked more of a cartoon versus realistic people looking like. So I'd love to see something.
Yeah, and with Batman the animated series, it looked every bit a cartoon, as you say.
Yeah.
But the maturity and the storytelling was above and beyond, cartoons at the time. So, Batman the animated series is my favorite version of Batman.
Of course.
Yeah, same here.
Well,
just the whole mythos.
Yeah, we got a comment from Justin. He says, "I never realized how weird Rocko's Modern Life was until I saw it as an adult. The tick still holds up."
Yeah, that was a weird show. You go back and watch that and Ren and Stimpy, you see a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah.
Ren and Stimpy. Oh my. Ren and Stimpy. Yeah.
They were more adult oriented.
They definitely more adult oriented, but yeah. But still, a lot of the stuff. It played to children's level, but still.
Yeah.
No.
And I agree, the tick does still hold up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed the Tick. I remember watching the Tick as a kid. I've never actually watched Rocko's Modern Life.
It's pretty good. You should check it out. If you like weird stuff.
It's different. It's definitely different.
Talking about the cartoons having more kind of adult content. Tiny Toon Adventures and Animaniacs are two very well written shows.
I agree.
I remember enjoying them as a kid and going back and watching them when they hit Hulu and laughing even harder at some of the jokes that were way over my head as a kid that hit with 40-year-old Tommy a whole lot. Of course, now my kid is laughing at the goofy antics and completely missing like the stuff they were slipping past the radar.
Right, and that's kind of like Looney Tunes were back in the day.
Yeah.
Their humor was mainly geared toward them being adults. Then, you know, then like you said, the kids that's the anvil being dropped on something, and but you just listen to some of their dialogue and stuff, and you picking that up, you going, oh, that's what they mean. Oh wow,
Right.
and you just get tickled at that. You just go, wow. And then some of the guys I went to school with, we're all in our 50s, and we still talk about that, and we just go on different episodes of Bugs Bunny and what he did, and we just start laughing, and you know, instead of talking about politics, we're talking about cartoons.
Right.
So,
Well, fewer fistfights that way.
yeah, true. True. But what about the live action shows, guys? What do y'all? Was there any of the live action Saturday morning that caught your attention? I don't know if, like I said, I'm the older head here, so I don't know if you remember a lot of them by the time you guys were out. I don't know if there was a lot of them still left.
Yeah, like for me, like I said, it was Captain Power was one of my favorite shows to watch.
Because I remember there used to be a show called Arc 2. It's kind of futuristic. There used to be a Space Academy show that used to come on. Of course, you had the original. They had Shazam and Isis Hour, where they had Captain Marvel, World Mightiest Mortal, and then
Yeah. I also remember Land of the Lost. Do you guys remember that one?
yes, I remember the Sid and Marty Krofft. A lot of
Yeah.
theirs was live action. Sigmund the
Yeah.
Sea Monster, of course, Land of the Lost, and oh man, there was a ton of them.
I'll tell you, I watched a lot of Saved by the Bell.
Same here.
And that was squeezed into the Saturday morning lineup when it came on.
Yeah.
And some of the plots were slightly more outlandish than the plot of your average He-Man episode. So,
yeah, like I said, there was a lot of live action they used to have back then, and they kind of blended in with the cartoons as well. So, but now, like I said, probably about around the 80s, you start seeing them die down, so you don't see a lot of them anymore. But
I was actually reading a little bit about that in preparation for today when I saw Ben put up the topic for us. And interestingly, one of the biggest things that Wikipedia cites as impacting Saturday morning cartoons was the rise of no-fault divorce in America. And it was because the divorce rate went up, and so kids were being split between parents more than they were when they were younger. And so spending weekends with other parent meant sometimes having that schedule disrupted where they weren't watching cartoons anymore, and it impacted Saturday morning ratings.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I never knew why. I just thought it might have just been ratings, and because a lot of that would, because you always had the toy commercials and all the commercials where they sold stuff. I mean, that's
Sure.
how the toys, made their money. Saturday mornings, your kids, you're watching Scooby Doo. Then next thing you got, hey, bombard you with all these toy ads, and then of course the stuff geared toward kids like the Kool-Aid and all that stuff geared toward kids, the candy and all that. M&Ms and you had all that, and now it seems like it's not. You hardly see that stuff anymore.
You're talking about like Scooby Doo, and then we go ahead a few years, and we get stuff like He-Man, G.I. Joe, and Transformers that were literally just 30-minute toy commercials.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah. Did you know that He-Man was brought about to defeat Kenner's Star Wars line? Like, I had no idea.
I didn't know that either. That's interesting.
Yeah, they were trying to compete with their toy line, and they came out with He-Man.
I did not know that.
And they watched kids play with action figures, and a lot of the times they were talking about, having the power, having command over what they were doing, and so that became their tagline. I have the power.
I have the power.
Yeah.
Wow.
Made kids feel empowered. So.
Well, He-Man just gave me body images. I can't be that big and strong.
Yeah, and the He-Man figures, they were larger too. They were larger than
They were, yeah.
The 10 versus 4, whatever their Star Wars were.
He-Man was very influential for me all the way around because, as I mentioned, I think one of our first episodes, the first comic books that I read were the He-Man mini comics that came with the action figures. And, and they were, like I said, He-Man as a cartoon, as a toy line was just like big for me as a little kid. It was one of those things. I loved how deep the roster was. The character designs were so interesting. Even though looking back, I recognized it as a kid, but I wrote it off because I was forgiving as a kid. But like they reused so many pieces and character models in like He-Man toys.
Right.
I think it was Stinkor and Merman have the same head, but Stinkor is painted like a skunk, and Merman's painted in greens and browns because he's a water creature.
Aquatic, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Battle Cat came around because they were on a budget, and they needed another vehicle, and they had another toy line called Jungle Jim, and Jungle Jim had this huge cat, and so they said, put a saddle on it, and we'll put He-Man on there.
Fair enough.
And it worked.
It became one of the most iconic parts of the He-Man mythos. He-Man and Battle Cat are a thing. So.
Right.
What was his alternate Cringer? Is that?
Yeah, Cringer.
Yeah.
I still remember that voice. Oh, He-Man, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, and then when you get older, you start getting into the creepy implications of the fact that He-Man's forcing Cringer into making a transformation that he's clearly not happy about.
Oh, boy.
And you start going, wow, this could get real dark real fast.
Yeah. Because Cringer, he used to run away sometimes, didn't he? And he used to shoot him with the sword.
Well, he never ran too far because they used so much stock footage. They weren't going to animate something new when you're running away. That's one of those things. My son, my oldest son, is a big anime fan, and one of my really good friends, one of my best friends, is a big anime fan, and I will rip on anime so hard, like anime series so hard for all the stock footage that they just reused. But like my favorite cartoons when I was a little kid did the same damn thing.
As you should.
Right. They weren't going to go breaking the bank to do like different animations for He-Man on stuff. So.
Right. Yeah,
the moral of that story is you like what you like.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, you never paid attention when you were a kid on that other stuff until you see it as an adult, and hey, they're going kind of doing a loop.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Right.
Tom and Jerry running scene.
Yeah, and the Flintstones is notorious for it. You see them, they doing just running around. You think they ran about 20 miles where they running, and it's the same neighborhood. So,
Well, it's the same reason that cartoon characters, regardless of the genre of cartoon, rarely had different outfits. You know, I mean,
do they bathe?
yeah. Does the Scooby Gang have extra clothes?
Do they have extra clothes?
Did you ever see that episode of Doug where he opens up his closet and you see all the same shirts?
No. Oh man, I forgot about that. That's a good one. Doug.
There was Nickelodeon, which Rocko's Modern Life was originally a Nickelodeon show, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So Rocko's Modern Life. Doug was also Nickelodeon, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So Nickelodeon has some very fun shows.
Yeah.
I remember watching more Nickelodeon cartoons and stuff than I did a lot of Disney cartoons and stuff.
Right.
But I will say the Disney afternoon stuff, like DuckTales, Rescue Rangers, Darkwing Duck, those were all very fun.
Remember Tailspin?
Yeah.
Tailspin, yes.
One of the greatest.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of Darkwing Duck. I love the villain designs in Darkwing Duck.
Yeah.
There's Megavolt, Negaduck, who is the evil Darkwing Duck.
The Liquidator.
Liquidator.
Crossed over.
Cracker Jack.
DuckTales.
Yeah, because Launchpad came from DuckTales over to Darkwing Duck.
Yeah,
And
I think it had Gizmo Duck crossover.
Yeah, I think Gizmo Duck was on both shows too.
Yeah.
Gizmo Duck had kind of I always felt like, I don't know what the inspiration was, I always felt like it was meant to be kind of a RoboCop inspiration.
I can see that.
Yeah, kind of like RoboCop and Inspector Gadget, kind of a crossover.
Yeah.
Seemed like.
Yeah.
Right. And speaking of Inspector Gadget, that's one I hadn't thought about in a long time.
Oh wow.
Did you guys ever watch Pirates of Darkwater?
Yes.
Yes.
That was amazing.
Skeleton Warriors.
Yes, I love that. For a while there, they had some pretty interesting cartoons. I guess that's when Brave Star came out, and I remember there used to be one with Black Star. That's kind of drawn. I think Filmation did them, and then you had the Tarzan. They had a Tarzan cartoon. Well, and it was kind of all the same. I think they was kind of drawn the same. Had the same animation style.
I know our good friend Kent Clark is a big fan of Brave Star.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's a humongous fan.
Speaking of Kent, he's the one who did the drawing for my little profile picture there.
He did a great one for me that I've used on Facebook as a profile picture, and used to be on my business cards when I had them, where it's me with Max Monkey's Monster Masher on my back and a cursed shirt and Rachel's claws.
Oh wow. So. He did the Bolo one for you too, didn't he?
Yes. Yeah, he did. He's actually done a couple pieces of fan art for me in my wrestling personas.
Nice.
We actually, before the pandemic started, we had him doing centerfolds for our wrestling company's wrestling magazine. And it was I had actually gotten him to do one poster for a wrestler that I'm a big fan of, and a real nice guy. One of our big heroes in the company, Dmitry Alexandrov, the bear fighter, the Russian bear fighter, and everybody on the magazine staff loved it so much they asked me if we could do more, and so I talked to Kent. I negotiated it with Kent. And he did a second one for Bloodborne John Cross, who's one of at the time he was kind of a bad guy. Now he's mostly a bad guy and kind of a bigger than a good or bad figure. But that went over amazingly well. And so we were plotting out, we were going to do a year-long series in the magazine of Kent doing these, the Superstar series is what we called it. Kent doing a series of 12 posters of some of our top guys and feuds and stuff like that. Then the pandemic happened, and we had to stop holding wrestling shows for a while. And not holding wrestling shows, we don't have material for wrestling magazines or funds to print wrestling magazines. So, and the magazine has been on hiatus ever since. So, but that was brought about for a couple of reasons. One, I know Kent is a big wrestling fan.
Yes.
And two, I'm a big fan of Kent's art. So, and I like the idea of combining those two elements together. So. Ben, what are you planning on working on here today?
I'm going to do Lino from Thundercats.
Cool.
I've been rewatching the series on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
Like every Saturday, I'll watch like an episode or two.
Nice. Making your own Saturday morning cartoons. Right,
as I drink my old man coffee and sit there watching cartoons.
It's funny, the concept of Saturday morning cartoon. I'm sorry. I don't talk over anybody.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I think the concept of Saturday morning cartoons are lost on kids these days because, I have a 6-year-old. Okay, the idea of watching anything on a schedule is baffling to him now. Like for us, we watched the dissolution of Saturday morning cartoons come with networks phasing out the programming and cartoons basically shifting over to 24/7 cartoon channels like the Cartoon Network, stuff like that. And my youngest boy now, the idea of him watching cartoons on any kind of schedule is foreign to him. Like he watches everything streaming. He was trying to watch Ninja Turtles a while back, and it wasn't streaming anywhere, but on demand. But Pluto, which is a free internet TV service, had a Ninja Turtles channel, and so I switched it over to him so he could start watching this Ninja Turtles channel on Pluto, and he had no concept of the fact that he couldn't pause it, that he couldn't pick what episode he was going to watch. I was like, this is how TV worked for me, like most of my life. Yeah.
How did we survive those times?
Do what?
So how did we survive those times?
Right. I watched a lot more stuff than I do now because it was a whole lot easier to pick between the 3 choices that I had than the 500 choices that I've got now. I'll tell you what I was a big fan of too was ABC. I think it would do something like I recall them doing little not animated. There were live action features on Saturday mornings for a while. Generally at that kind of break point between when the cartoons were ending and they were starting to fade into for the day, fade into like sports programming and stuff like that. Little TV movies that were geared towards kids. I'm trying to see if I can remember if my memory's messing with me or not.
Well, I know back in the 70s, they used to have the after school special, which was
Sure.
Shows geared toward kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to enjoy some of those after school specials.
Yeah.
If you look hard enough, you can find a few of those still floating around like YouTube and such. If you want to throw it back and revisit and some of the bad acting and very, very ham-fisted moral writing.
Right. Well, just interesting seeing some of the actors, how they got their start back then, too.
That's true. I like to watch a lot of old shows on MeTV or Heroes and Icons. Like I watch those old shows that come on, and it's just funny to see these actors who are nobody back then, and they're like famous people now. Like today, I watched an episode of MacGyver, and Jason Priestley was on there as a teenager.
Nice. The one time in his life, he was a teenager when he played a teenager.
Right.
There been 30-year-olds playing.
Right.
I had recently been watching Hill Street Blues and just finished it up just a week or so ago. And especially as it got later into the run, I recognized more and more actors who are fairly prominent now. Don Cheadle had a guest spot in one episode as a mentally disturbed man who wound up getting killed by his little sister.
Wow.
Yeah,
Linda Hamilton was on there too.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Trying to remember, I'm 99% sure in one of the very last episodes, Bryan Cranston played a lawyer for one of the detectives being investigated by Internal Affairs. And like that one threw me for a loop. So I was like, I think that's Bryan Cranston. Yeah, that's always fun watching older shows like that and seeing some of that. Some of those guys, who became movie stars.
Right.
Well, let's still go back to the electric company, Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
On that, and him and actually Bill Cosby and Rita Moreno, they used to be on there, and they became pretty well-known actors and comedians and stuff.
Right.
Johnny, what are you drawing up today?
Right now, I'm doing a Harley Quinn, just kind of loosening up the pencil a little bit.
Jason, can you confirm that Johnny's actually looking at the page while he's doing this, or is he also watching?
He's looking at. He's getting up and looking down.
Turn around, look at me.
Here we go.
He's resting his eyes.
I think Johnny's asleep.
Likes to rest his eyes when he's doing his warm-ups.
Oh my. Oh man.
Jason, what are you working on today? Donatello? Sweet.
Donatello.
See if we can share this.
Share, man, share.
I have a set of all four Ninja Turtles that Johnny did a few years back, and I don't remember what con I got them from you at, but you had them set out.
That's looking good, Jason.
Like,
Nice.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
scribbles right now.
Looks good, man.
But that's the foundation.
Yeah.
It's layer 1, right?
Yes. Actually, it is later one.
There you go.
Don't name them. That's enough, you guys. Making me nervous.
And Jason, what are you working with tools wise today?
I'm working with my Surface Pro.
Cool.
Using the pen that came with it.
Mhm.
Clip Studio, Paint Pro.
Big fan of Clip Studio.
Yes, me too. Although I haven't used this in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't either. I actually haven't used it since I lettered more than they can chew, and I need to get back to that because I'm gonna have to reteach myself how to letter all over again because it's been that long.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of figuring out.
I don't usually know what I'm doing at all, so I just go through life making it up as I go.
Best way to do it.
Keeping it loose.
So
Just winging it.
flying by the seat of my pants, trying to keep us from having dead air.
And this will remind you about the cons, guys.
A little bit.
We'll have our heads down, drawing.
I'll have our heads down drawing.
Yeah, and there's always somebody that I'm trying to talk to who's a little further down the table than everybody else. So.
Nice.
Now, we're talking live action Saturday morning shows. I'm not a guy who became a huge fan of it for like its entire run, but I watched a fair bit of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I probably stopped. I think it was early in Power Rangers Zeo, which I think was, I don't remember if it was the third or the fourth incarnation of them, but that was around the time they were finally phasing out, like I think all the last of the original Power Rangers.
I never really got into the Power Rangers. I did watch some of the shows, and I thought it was kind of interesting. They did the martial arts thing, and I thought that again, they had Rita, and she had the Madonna points coming out. I thought that was kind of.
It threw me for a second while you were talking about it. Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
On her chest. Yeah, I
Earmuffs.
was actually surprised that they allowed that on TV. But I guess the kids, they didn't care. They just, that's Rita Repulsa.
I was actually a pretty big fan of Lord Zed as a villain, both the character design and when he came onto the show. He seemed like a slightly more serious villain, and that appealed to me more, especially at the age I was getting around the time that came out. I said I was never a massive fan of Power Rangers, and
Right.
but it was certainly neat at the time. Like because it was just different from anything else that was on at the time, and there were a lot of imitators that spawned out of Power Rangers.
Of course.
The one I probably watched the most was an oddball show that was on Fox Kids called The Mystic Knights of Tirnanog.
Huh?
Yeah, it was meant to be a like European medieval fantasy superhero live action show that had that same kind of Power Rangers formula, because that happens a lot not just with kids shows, but in general,
Of
is
course,
something comes along and it's successful, and then
of course.
other companies try to get as close to it as they can without getting sued. So, because you want to try to capture that lightning, trying to capture lightning in a bottle, but if it were easy,
course.
anyone could do it.
Of course.
And there was also that Young Hercules show that starred Ryan Gosling when he was young.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a Saturday morning show.
He was just a Gosling.
Oh my. Yeah. What y'all think of the like stuff that they had in between the shows, like because I always loved the Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah.
That's one thing I always look forward to, just in between watching those and saying, conjunction junction, what's your function?
Right. Or I'm just a bill.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I always got a kick. I always got a kick out of those. You get in there, you sing along, you be singing along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then to try to get us educated.
It worked. They fooled me.
Yeah. So, I remember CBS used to have like quick news snippets that they used to call In the News, and unfortunately, I don't think Channel 2 or NBC had anything. But I remember ABC and CBS, they kind of both try to get some kind of educational in between all the cartoon shows.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I just love Schoolhouse Rock. And just couldn't wait to see anything from Zero My Hero to Verb and unpack your adjectives.
Pack your adjectives. Wow.
Yes.
I'm gonna threat.
You gotta pack those adjectives right now. You're gonna get it.
Oh man.
I used to have a soft spot for some of the incredibly weird ass Saturday morning cartoon ideas, like when they attempted to turn RoboCop into a cartoon,
Yes.
Swamp Thing into a cartoon.
Yes. They did the Men in Black.
Yeah,
That was actually pretty good.
Beetlejuice was a Saturday morning cartoon for a little while.
Yeah. That was I kind of like Beetlejuice. That was a little underrated. I thought that was a pretty funny cartoon.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize Dumb and Dumber was one.
They made
Yeah.
the Mask and Ace
Yeah.
Ventura, I think, too.
Yeah, that's when Jim Carrey was in the stratosphere.
Still is.
In a different way.
In a different way. Yeah. And
I think one of the weirdest cartoons I ever saw was one where this kid would turn into a car. Do you guys remember that one?
Jason?
turn into a car.
No.
I vaguely remember that.
I'm going to Google it because you guys are probably going to think I'm crazy.
No, I remember something like that.
This sounds vaguely familiar to me. I think I may have Turbo Teen.
Possibly, yeah, that might have been it.
Where heat makes him turn into a car and cold turns him back.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, Turbo
Go,
Teen.
Tommy.
Yeah, I remember watching a couple of episodes of that, and that was just the weirdest cartoon.
This is the description that I found. Not only was Brett Matthews a great sports car driver, he was also a great sports car. Following an accident when he crashed into a science lab where a top secret transfer array is being developed, Brett had the ability to turn himself into a car whenever his body temperature reached a certain level. Brett trusted no one aside from his girlfriend Patty, his buddy Alex, and the federal government. Wow, with this chrome-plated secret.
The federal government. Wow.
It was a different time, guys. The federal government gets used to bad guys in these shows now. Always an altruistic automobile, the Turbo Teen used his powers for good. Most notably, he battled bad guy Dark Rider in his truck Bigfoot. See, Bigfoot's our good guy now. So, like, who uses a Bigfoot truck for the bad guys? I mean, like, that was like a huge thing when I was a kid. So.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cartoon series too. Bigfoot and the Muscle Machines. I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Apparently, Turbo Teen only aired for 13 episodes. I don't know how this thing didn't
didn't catch on.
Why didn't catch on? Yeah. Can you imagine the action figure that would have come from that?
Oh, this is fantastic. Wikipedia says that in the Encyclopedia of American Animated Television Shows, David Perlmutter writes, "This is perhaps the most absurd concept developed for television animation in genre history. Despite a basis in somewhat plausible science, it was not produced competently enough to make its premise anywhere near believable." I need to know what the science was on this. I
We've
am
seen
now
this before,
obsessed.
guys.
There's science about turning a person into a car.
I guess there is, according to some people.
You know, if we turn more people into cars, the people who don't have cars would then have cars.
There you go.
The problem that solves itself.
Do they use a clean burning energy?
I think greenhouse gases will go up.
Or ethanol, maybe.
This explains it a little bit. It was broadcast during the growing popularity of the Knight Rider television series and mirrors much of it, even down to similar sounding theme music. So basically, they were trying to get a Knight Rider cartoon and couldn't. So.
Now, when they
Knight Rider
they
plus
went-
Transformers.
Right.
That'd be the new show called Uber.
We'll call it Ubro.
Yeah, there you go. Even better. Oh man.
That's our next comic project right there.
There we go. Ubro.
Yes.
Oh my.
Anyone ever watch the Flintstone Kids?
Yes.
I remember those mostly for Captain Caveman.
Yes, I do remember that.
Captain Caveman
Yeah.
and Son.
And Son. Yeah. The Captain Caveman, he started off, used to be him and the Teenagers, little Charlie's Angels knockoff.
Justin says for the science is still science. Can't argue with that.
That's awesome. A pup named Scooby-Doo
that
drove home the concept of red herrings to me because of their character Red Herring.
I love pup named
subtle.
Scooby Doo. I love that.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah, Red Herring Fred. Him and Fred had something going on, didn't
Yeah, Fred, like just about every case, Fred was convinced that Red Herring was the one who was responsible.
they? Yeah. And used Red come over there and used to pop him in the head or something.
See, it's because he was only a red herring. I don't know if you caught that or not.
Oh man. Scooby Doo did have some good shows.
Oh yeah. Oh
Still
yeah.
watch the 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo with Vincent Price, or they call Vincent Van Gogh.
Yeah. Johnny, did you ever watch many of the sitcoms turned animated shows like the Gilligan's Island animated show?
Actually, I own the Gilligan Island. Yeah, I seen it on Amazon. I guess I probably was the only one that enjoyed it, but yeah, I used to love that, the animated Gilligan's Island. Never so much I guess they had Gilligan's Planet the next season, but I used to love the Gilligan's Island show, and I actually bought it. I seen it on Amazon, and I picked it up because I used to love those shows. I remember the Vern and Shirley in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. I remember the Happy Days cartoon. Fonzie, I guess.
The intro was narrated by Wolfman Jack.
Yeah. Oh, what else? Of course, I'm trying to think of. Yeah, there seemed like there was more. I know Gary Coleman had one, but I don't think it was patterned after different strokes, though.
Right. I think you're right. I'm trying to remember what that was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't different strokes.
Yeah. I remember the Brady kids. They used to have one. They focused on the Brady Bunch kids. And I remember on it, they used to have had a guest cartoon character every time. I think they had Superman on there, Wonder Woman.
Nice.
I remember that used to be. I remember Genie. They had it was based on I Was Dream of Genie, but they kind of made it more teenagers, and it's based on I Dream of Genie, and that's where Mark Hamill, he did the voice of one of the teenagers. I know.
He never really went on to do any more voice work after that, though, did he?
Oh no, I think they're trying to find out whatever happened to him.
Right.
Yeah, he's a washed up hack.
By the way, Gary Coleman's cartoon was The Gary Coleman Show.
Fair enough. Keep it simple. What you talking about? I don't even think he did what you talking about was on there.
Well, yeah, his character was spun off from a made-for-TV movie he did called The Kid with the Broken Halo.
Oh, okay. I remember that show. I remember that.
I don't know. Any guys remember Captain N and the Game Master?
Yeah.
Yes. Nintendo?
Yeah.
Yes.
With big Nintendo tie-in show.
Right.
I enjoyed that as a kid. One thing I hated about it was my favorite character when they announced who all was going to be in it. I liked the Castlevania series. You know, even as a younger kid, I liked the kind of darker gothic horror And the Simon Belmont that we got in Captain N was a he came across more like a male model, in the worst possible way. And I just, I was so disappointed in that. But I was, as a kid, I had my first system I really played was the original Nintendo Entertainment System. And I mean, we had an Atari, but by the time I was really, had the eye-hand coordination to really play games, we had a Nintendo, and so I was a big fan of all the references and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But my 6-year-old actually got hooked on Captain N not too long ago on one
really?
of the free streaming services. Yeah.
Well, you're raising them right, Tommy.
Although he also hated Simon Belmont because he'd been watching my oldest play the Castlevania games on his PC, and he was like, my 6-year-old was like, "What's this? This isn't." He also had a huge issue with Mega Man being green in the cartoon instead of blue.
Uh-oh. I just throwing him off now.
Yeah, my kid is every bit as nitpicky as me. So
sometimes you gotta be nitpicky.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
It's America. We're allowed to be. Freedom of choice.
There you go. Oh, man. You got to think of a lot of the video game influenced cartoons.
Super Mario Bros.
Yeah.
I used to watch Mario Brothers just for Friday episodes where they did these Zelda snippets. I loved the little Legend of Zelda cartoons on the. Those would air Monday through Thursday. You'd get the live action Mario bookends with Mario Brothers bookends with a Mario episode in between, and then on Fridays you got Legend of Zelda instead. And I enjoyed the Legend of Zelda way more than I did the Mario Brothers. But in video games, I like Legend of Zelda more than I do Mario Brothers.
Right.
But as a wrestling fan, I enjoyed the absurdity of Captain Lou Albano as Mario in the live action segments. If none of you guys were 70s and 80s wrestling fans, Captain Lou Albano means nothing to you. But that's Captain Lou.
That's Captain Lou.
And in fact, Danny Wells played Luigi, and because of me watching that show as a kid, anytime I've ever seen Danny Wells' name pop up in a movie, a show, whatever, the first thing that went to my head was, "That's Luigi."
Of course.
And that's the danger of doing live action shows, people.
Yeah.
Having someone get stuck with an image of you. A little easier with voice acting, but
let me throw a cartoon out there, and I just now thought of it. Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah,
yes,
that was fun.
I thought that was one of the most underrated shows. And
that's very fondly remembered today amongst Dungeons and Dragons players.
Yeah. And
I haven't seen that show in years.
Yeah. I had the. They never did have a last episode though. And that's what I always.
I seem like I recall something up. Yeah, it was an unfinished.
Yeah, and the DVD set that you get they talk about it and they was going to make it, but they never did make it. And I would have loved to seen them, where it's kind of a big, maybe epic, them and trying to get home.
There was a car commercial that came out maybe 2 years ago.
Yes.
That kind of answered that question, live action, and it was done really well, actually.
Yes. No, I thought that
apparently
kind
it
of
was.
Go ahead, Tom. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say apparently the show was controversial at the time because the amount of violence was unusual for an American children's TV show. Like I said, I haven't seen the show in years.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about I mean, I can't think of it being any more violent than anything.
Well, apparently there was one episode that almost got completely shelved because they openly contemplated killing Venger, who was their big bad.
Right.
And that's just not what you do in cartoons. You scold Skeletor so that he can go back to his castle and plot again for the next week. So
you can't spank him.
well, those episodes are on a different part of the internet, Johnny. And it was at this point that Ben regretted asking me on the show.
Oh my.
Yeah, we'll just remove Tommy. Try and keep this PG. Yeah, bad connection, Tommy. Sorry about that.
It's tough, but it's fair.
It's the code I live by.
Nice.
Ben's like, I wish I could do this. Ben's like, I wish I could do this at conventions. Just kick Tommy out.
Remove button for Tommy.
Talking about like villains and maturity levels of animated shows. I'll tell you, like Skeletor, great character design, so fun. When he's taken seriously, he's a terrifying villain. But in the He-Man animated series, he's a joke. I mean, he's just a joke. Cobra Commander, honestly, isn't much better in the G.I. Joe cartoons. He's
of course.
He's like screeching to the point that he's, you can't take him seriously. Megatron always put a little bit of shiver up my spine. Like there was something about the portrayal of Megatron. He didn't come across that same joke villain way that some of those guys did. I know we're stepping outside now of Saturday morning cartoons, but that first Transformers animated movie.
Yes.
When him and Optimus Prime beat each other to death.
That was traumatizing.
That was awesome. I loved it.
You're both 100% right. Traumatizing and awesome. But and of course, Megatron gets saved by Unicron.
Right.
But otherwise, he would have been dead. But yeah. but even then in the Transformers cartoons, there was always something about Megatron that felt more dangerous than your average villain like that. So,
Maybe it's
I
the fact that
agree.
he was a robot. He's just no remorse.
yeah,
Yeah, just I
and
guess
even
just how
though,
they wrote him because he
although his
didn't.
transformation was one of the dumbest ones, he turned into a handgun.
Yeah,
Right.
Everybody's weakness.
but I mean, you're right.
But I
He
guess
didn't.
go ahead.
I think he didn't vent like Cobra Commander and like even Skeletor to a point. He just kind of did what he was going to do.
That's fair.
And
Yeah.
no, when he comes, he's going to attack. We're going to attack now. It's not like Cobra Commander. He throws a fit, and then he starts berating all his underlings because of his, you know, ridiculous plan that everybody knew it's not going to work. And
Right.
and then even Skeletor to a point was the same way.
hmm
But yeah, something about Megatron. He's going to go in there. You know, I'm going to the store. I'm going to break in there and I'm going to take this and beat whoever's in my way.
I always felt like Mumra had a little bit of that too.
Yeah,
Um,
that's where I was going to go next. What y'all think about Mumra? I thought he was a pretty
yeah,
good villain.
Mumra was always limited by the fact that he could only harness that power for so long.
Yeah,
Uh, and so it wasn't that same. Oh, you beat me this time, shucks. There was something that felt dangerous about him too.
because there's a lot of
And
times too. He had Lionel on the ropes a lot of times, and then
sure.
he just couldn't hold that ultimate form, I guess.
And I kind of feel bad for like animated show writers, um, because you're having to figure out basically how to write the same good guys versus the same bad guy in at least 90% of your episodes. Um, and I'm sure at least some of those guys were beating their heads against the wall going, oh, we got to let him get away. How do we let him get away this time? And, I know that pivoting away actually from cartoons just a little bit, when the Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV show was being produced, that was a concern Joss Whedon had with the Master, who was the big bad of the first season. He didn't want him to be Skeletor. He didn't
Right.
want him to be, Buffy beats him up in an episode and curse you, Summers, and he runs off, and then they do it again in the next episode. So
Right.
he had to figure out how to structure the show so that it wasn't that. And that was how Saturday morning cartoons influenced Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
See, it's related.
Yeah.
Jason, how's Donatello looking?
Still scribbles. Here, I'll do a little share screen again.
Nice.
Everyone had some lines
Nice.
to it. Some details.
Frank Welker is an amazing voice actor.
Yeah, he is.
Agreed.
Justin's spot on right there.
Speaking of which, I mean, I know a lot of people don't know a lot of the voice actors. I mean, besides the main ones, you know, of course, Casey Kasem, probably prominent, especially within the Hanna-Barbera universe,
Yeah,
because he did a lot of voiceover work for them. You know, and he's definitely known for being Shaggy
Robin.
and Robin.
I actually didn't realize that Frank Welker was the voice of Fred in Scooby Doo.
Yeah,
I knew stuff like Megatron, and but I guess didn't realize that Megatron was also Fred.
yeah.
So learned something new.
Well, for the longest time, I didn't realize Mark Hamill was the Joker on the animated series.
Sure.
I heard that Frank Welker did the voice for the Predator. Is that true? For the movie? Like, came out with the sound effect?
I don't know. I'm not seeing anything to confirm that. But I'm not at all surprised to learn that he was also Dr. Claw and Inspector Gadget. That really fits. Yeah, that fits in line with the Megatrons and the sound waves. He also voiced Santa's Little Helper and Snowball 2 in The Simpsons.
Speaking of which, where's the Simpsons in everybody's pantheon of cartoon greatness?
I really enjoyed like the first 10 seasons or so.
Yeah, same here. I really like the Treehouse of Horror. Those are some of my favorite episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I stopped watching so much. Like I said, around 10 seasons or so into it. At the risk of, I don't know. It felt like when they were bringing in guest stars, it was not funny and just felt gimmicky as it got later on, and then it kind of wore on me. But I will still randomly quote stuff from the first 10 seasons, a lot. So I drive Harlow nuts telling her to paint my chicken coop, which I got from The Simpsons.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, Tom. I think it's after the first couple of seasons, it's just kind of started becoming redundant and kind of bland.
And I remember watching The Simpsons shorts when they were on the Tracy Ullman show.
That's I do too. And there's a lot of people can't believe it was on a comedy variety show.
And there were little things that got changed from there to when they went to a full series.
Yeah.
Because at the time, I'm sure they were probably just largely making it up as they went along. Just get some gags in there.
Right.
And then later, when they're trying to do a show, then it's all right. Now you got to formalize some of the stuff a little bit.
Right.
Um,
Noticing the art, how it got refined from the old
Mhm.
Tracy Ullman shorts.
yeah, yeah. It was the animation was a lot cruder than it got a little later.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, I know Ben, you said you're watching Thundercats right now, and we've all talked about the influence like that He-Man has had on us. You guys watch any of you guys fans of some of the later revivals of some of those shows, like the
Yes,
or reimagined?
the Thundercats, that first revival show.
Mm-hmm. Cartoon Network.
I really enjoyed that. And there was one episode that was really touching that they had, and almost it brought a tear to my eye. Actually, the way they did it, and I thought it was just well written. And then next thing you know, it wasn't back on. They canceled it. Now the one with I've never seen it, but the one with the more animated look,
Yeah.
I never seen it, but it just didn't look. It looked like it was kind of making a joke of kind of Thundercats, and I never watched it, but again,
The newer one that looked a little bit like Teen Titans Go.
Yeah,
like that kind of.
Yeah, that kind of anime looking stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd never seen any of those, but to me that looked more like a joke, and I didn't. They weren't going to take it serious. And I don't know. Did any of you guys see any of those, or?
I haven't seen any of those. No.
Yeah.
I think I saw one episode of it. It was just kind of had it on the background. I was in a hotel room, and people were getting ready to head out, and just kind of had it playing in the background. But yeah, it was a lot like Teen Titans Go, kind of funny, not really serious.
Well, speaking of which, let's talk about Teen Titans Go. Does everybody? I mean, I'll just admit I was a little disappointed. I was a lot disappointed with it because I thought it was going to be some more of a Bruce Timm style art, and I thought it was going to be a little more serious show. And then when I watched it, I was just going, "What is this?"
So like I can't really speak to that firsthand, and that's because I was never a big Teen Titans fan. The Teen Titans series. My son and my wife watched it extensively. They were huge fans, and I can tell you they were both very disappointed in Teen Titans Go. My youngest, I don't know that he's ever really watched it much, but yeah, my household used to be some pretty big Teen Titans fans and didn't care so much for Teen Titans Go.
Oh my.
Yeah, I never really got into it myself. I felt like it was geared towards kids, so it just wasn't for me.
Yeah, I've always tried to instill, try to expose my kids to some of that stuff that I like, that's available now still, either because I've had DVD sets stashed or it's hit streaming networks or what have you. And sometimes they take to it and sometimes they don't. Like, I'm not saying I force it on my kids, but I'm like, hey, here's stuff here if you want to see. So, Harlow, my 6-year-old is he doesn't watch too much these days, but he was a huge fan for a while of the new Netflix She-Ra. I mean, he watched that thing like crazy.
I've never seen that. How was that? I remember seeing it advertised, but I've never watched any of it.
Um, I never got into the animation style with it. I couldn't get past that. But my wife would watch it with him. She wasn't very impressed with it, but like I said, my kid really loved it. I was a little surprised that like he loved it enough that if I would have seen like actual She-Ra merchandise, I would have got him toys or something.
Right.
But apparently Netflix hasn't figured out that when you're doing these shows, there's supposed to be toy commercials and you're supposed to be merchandising the hell out of this stuff. I mean, come on, that's what you do, right?
Right.
That's not what She-Ra was invented for. So.
Right.
Who needs story?
I'm cautiously intrigued at whatever Kevin Smith is doing with the new He-Man cartoon that's coming.
Uh-oh. I didn't know he's working on anything.
Yeah, he's partnership with Netflix, and apparently one of the Netflix executives was quoted by Smith as telling him, "He-Man was my childhood. Don't F it up." So,
straight to the point.
Yeah. So I'm. Yeah. Again,
band Silent Bob verse.
I don't believe so.
Blunt Man and Chronic.
Blunt Man and Chronic.
I saw some people lose their crap when stuff came out because apparently Tila is supposed to have a big role in it, and that led to cries of He-Man being replaced by Tila. But I guess Sarah Michelle Gellar, I think, is supposed to be doing the voice of Tila, so I don't mind because I'm a big Sarah Michelle Gellar fan. So
that is cool. I will say I enjoyed the Voltron Netflix show.
Oh, really? I
don't know if you
forgot
guys
about
seen
that one, too. Is that pretty good, Ben?
That one was surprisingly really good.
Oh, wow.
Was it?
You have to check that out.
I was a pretty big fan of, speaking of revivals and reimaginings and whatever, the I think it was the 2003 Ninja Turtles. It was the second Turtles series they did. I really liked it. Do what?
Was that the first Nickelodeon one?
I think so. No. I think Fox originally had that one. It was the one that I think in that one Shredder was he was one of the Utrom aliens. Yeah, the one I'm thinking of was on 4Kids TV, which at least out here was carried by I guess it was carried by the CW. I've never sat and watched it extensively. My Ninja Turtles has been the one thing that has survived through every generation of my family. Like I was a big fan of the original Ninja Turtles. All three of my kids have been big fans of various incarnations of the Ninja Turtles. So yeah, I mean, we and all the basics have stayed close enough that you know what the Turtles gimmick is, no matter what incarnation you're sitting down and watching. So that's been like a
ninjas.
Do what?
What's not to love about Turtles and Ninjas?
All right.
And pizza.
Pizza.
And pizza.
Go for some pizza now.
Everything except my heart loves pizza.
That's where we're heading.
Word.
Don't tell me you're going to sell the stomachs.
We won't.
We won't.
Thank you.
We'll tell you later. We'll send video.
Save me a slice.
Are they even open?
Yeah, I've been over there a few times.
Because of this episode, I'm eyeballing a Dungeons and Dragons animated series DVD set on eBay right now. I hope you guys are happy.
We are.
That was the whole purpose.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
Let's go ahead and end the broadcast now.
Make Tommy waste money. Well,
Tune in next week where we make Tommy buy a boat.
Can I shoot fish from my boat with my crossbow?
Yes.
Sure.
All right.
Whatever sells you on it. Whatever sells you on the idea of buying a boat. We'll go there.
And we'll live stream from the boat.
My youngest son actually likes playing Dungeons and Dragons board games with me. So I think he would probably also get a kick out of the animated series. And I haven't seen it in years, so
I think it still holds up, bub.
that sounds like an excuse to blow some money.
Yep.
It sounds like you're trying to convince yourself, Tommy. You don't need to convince us. Like Jason said earlier, this is America. Do what you want.
Do what you want, unless a bunch of people disagree with you.
Do it anyway and get canceled.
So I tell
Oh,
people-
we're about to get controversial now. Along those lines, getting into a serious topic here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, with the cartoons. Obviously, we can all kind of recognize that some things in cartoons and programming in general, but we'll keep it to cartoons right now, haven't exactly aged well. Because of the jokes that were used at the time the cartoons were made.
Right.
So, how do you guys think that should be tackled? Like when cartoons are added to streaming services or the like. I mean, do you think that the offensive content should be pulled? Do you think should be edited? Or are you good with disclaimers before episodes? What do you guys think?
I think a disclaimer is probably better.
That's what I think. Because I know a lot of the jokes just going with when they used to animate black folks especially with the Looney Tunes, they drew them pretty much like the Pickaninny sort of stuff. So, just a disclaimer, because I mean, I understand that's where that was in that time, and I understand that that's where it was, and again, we're far from that now, but again, I think that's kind of a historical teachable moment.
Correct.
Right. Yeah, I don't think it helps anybody to mask history.
And
No.
you know how they did, even how they did the Native Americans and indigenous people. They did them the same way.
Yeah.
So, no, disclaimer is, that's fine for me.
Yeah, I'm not at all an advocate for censorship.
Right.
I think it's John Waters said something to the effect of, "I don't want to live in a world that doesn't have bad taste." But I do think that it's perfectly fine to put forth disclaimers and the like, um, just so people can make an informed decision before they're going into something. I don't have a problem with rating systems. I don't have a problem with stuff like that. I do have a problem with telling an artist that they can't create art. Because sometimes sometimes people are just trying to do really, really bad things. I mean, they're just hateful people using their medium to spill hateful things. And sometimes they're trying to make a point that doesn't get made if you're being polite.
Right.
But then, like, for a lot of this older stuff, I won't speak to the intent of animators from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. I won't speak to the intent of writers from those eras. So yeah, I would rather preserve it with a disclaimer distancing, the modern companies from, this doesn't represent our views, what have you. I don't know if you guys have checked out Gone with the Wind on HBO Max. They have a 5-minute disclaimer before that movie.
Wow.
But it's a 5-minute disclaimer from a black historian about the stuff that gets glossed over with it. But the movie itself is presented as it has been for since the late 30s, I think.
Right.
And I think that's. I don't think that everything needs a 5-minute disclaimer. I think Gone with the Wind probably did. I don't think everything does, but yeah, I think it's perfectly fine to just here you go.
Yeah. Know what you're looking at. And even that case. Go ahead, Tom. I'm sorry.
No, I'm done.
Okay. Well, even that case, the Disney movie Song of the South with that tells the story of Uncle Remus and Brer Rabbit and Brer Bear and Brer Fox. I mean, tons of stereotypes, but again, that's what the animators were and as their vision back then. And now they've taken that movie pretty much, you can't find it anywhere.
Right.
I think YouTube had it at one time, but I think they pulled it off since then. And,
sure.
I'd still like people to be able to see that, and just from a historical point,
Mm-hmm.
And again, you don't see people going around talking like Bear Fox and all that, which is a play on black people back then, what their people's vision of how they thought black people talked or spoke. So, no, I definitely like to see that brought back and restored. And again, maybe with the disclaimers saying, "Hey, this is where this was. This is where we are now."
Mm-hmm.
But on a historical point, we definitely still want to show this and see how we progressed, or maybe trying to progress. I should say.
Sure. Yeah.
I agree with that. I think it can be a good conversation piece.
Great.
Between parents and their children.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm as a parent, I face stuff like that now. I watch. I was watching Cobra Kai, on Netflix recently, and my youngest son, who has lived in rural Oklahoma all of his life, was asking at different points why characters were talking funny, and it was one character's Spanish grandmother speaking Spanish, or Hispanic grandmother speaking Spanish, and then there were the episode, or there was a little bit of Japanese when during scenes set in Japan.
Right.
I explained to him, like, they're not speaking funny; they're speaking a different language that you don't speak and you don't understand. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's completely normal. That's their language. If you were dropped in the heart of Japan, you're speaking English, I might go, why is he speaking funny?
Yeah. Of course.
And the shoe gets on the other foot.
Of course.
So.
Great point, Tom. Great point brought up. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Ben's like taking the air out of the room.
Oh, no, it's all good, man. It's a really good point.
No, that's real. Great point.
Yeah, I feel like every Disney movie I've seen lately on Disney Plus has that disclaimer at the start of it. But yeah, I don't see any benefit to hiding our past.
Of course.
Right.
You got to learn from it and move on.
Of course. Well said. Well said.
On a much lighter note, I love the Sword of Omens. That was one of my favorite gimmicks as a kid, was Lionel's whole Sword of Omens gimmick with the Thundercat signal and the sight beyond sight when he would look through the crossing.
Yes.
Like, I'm a He-Man guy first and foremost, but Lionel's sword was more kick-ass.
And he's showing their brand.
Like, his signal's so badass. Like, that thing would like physically break through. Like, if he was in a cave and he called the gas, it would physically break through. Because you could just had it like still appear in the sky, and it's a magic sword. It works, but no, it busts through.
You could be like 1,000 miles away, and then you can still see it.
I was wondering if the other Thundercats got tired of Lionel like calling them for help. Like, this kid just never learns. He's just always getting in trouble. Every episode, every week. Lionel needs our help.
Let's go.
Oh, man, I'm halfway to my sandwich.
Oh, man.
Johnny got a little Joker going on there with Harley.
Got a little Joker with the hearts.
Speaking of Joker, excited to see what he's going to be like in the
I am.
Snyder Cut.
I am. Kind of interested how they're going to portray that.
Yeah.
Snyder Cut's out. Is it next month?
Next month.
Yep.
Well, Jason, you haven't actually been looking forward to that, right? I mean,
Was that?
you haven't been looking forward to that or anything, have you?
Oh, not at all.
Oh,
That's probably the most anticipated movie. Other than Mortal Kombat, of course.
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued because I don't love or hate the DC movie universe. Okay. I liked Man of Steel, but I wasn't in love with it. There was parts of it that really brought it down for me. Um, Batman versus Superman. I watched the Ultimate Edition. It's the only version I've seen. I haven't seen the theatrical version. Thought it was fine. I thought the whole Martha thing was a little goofy, but but I get what they were trying to do. I understood what the point of it was. But I thought it was an entertaining movie. That played up Batman and Superman both really well. Man, I thought first Wonder Woman was really good. I didn't watch Wonder Woman 84 while it was on HBO. I just didn't get around to it. But man, I thought Justice League was a mess. And I thought it was like I've watched enough. I've been a big enough fan of Joss Whedon's stuff that I could tell what I was pretty sure was his influence in the movie. And it's one thing if that was what you were going to do from the beginning, okay, but it felt very disjointed in that movie, and so I'm on board with seeing what Zack Snyder's vision actually looks like, and I may like it, I may not like it, but I'm on board with seeing.
A lot of people probably won't like it. They didn't like the original stuff. Like the early stuff.
Well, I said I love Batman vs Superman.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying most people they didn't care for it.
Gotcha.
Which I enjoy, but I don't understand why they would go into Justice League to watch it if they know they're just going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Because they go into it with like that bias.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something about going into it with tempered expectations. Yeah. But yeah, if you're going into it going, well, this is going to be crap, then don't bother watching it.
That's what I don't get about some people. They automatically just go into it. It's like, oh, this is gonna be terrible.
I mean, there's been some things that I had no interest in watching, and so I didn't watch them. Rather than going into it going, I think this is going to be bad. And then watching it going, see, it was bad. All right.
I told you.
I remember sitting in a comic shop one day, many years ago now, obviously, and when the Fantastic Four, we were talking about the Fantastic Four, the last one they did with was it Kate Mara and Miles Teller and those guys?
Yeah.
And we were all talking about how nothing about that movie looked appealing to us. And one of the guys says, I can't wait until that's on like Netflix or something so I can watch it and just make fun of how bad it is. And I said, I'm not going to watch it on Netflix. And he says, well, I mean, you want to make fun of how bad it is, don't you? I said, no, nothing about it looks appealing to me. So I'm not going to waste my time on just crapping on the movie. I'll just not watch it.
Yeah.
I will watch something I'd rather watch instead.
Right.
I think I do the geek thing wrong sometimes.
Yeah, that reminds me of The Simpsons.
I think you do it the right way.
The Simpsons comic book guy, when they come out with their superhero movie, and he's like, it's a horrible movie. I will only watch it 4 more times today.
Right. Right. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, if you don't have, I mean, if you think it just looks like crap, just don't watch it. I mean, you don't have to go shit on someone else's enjoyment. You don't have to,
Correct.
But yeah, whatever. Johnny, do I see Rachel parked next to Harley over there? I see Rachel in front of Harley over there.
Also.
Shameless plug, Tommy.
Yeah,
Do what?
been thinking about the Bigfoot, Tom. I actually had a dream about him. I had
I'm
to sketch
sorry.
him out. I even had a dream about our Bigfoot, so I had to sketch it out.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So
Looking good, Johnny.
thank you, sir.
Is that who's that you uncovered over there? Is that Luke Cage or
Luke
who's that?
Cage. That's Luke Cage.
All right. My
Yeah,
my,
sure.
my
Oh,
comic
nice.
guy. Yeah, that looks awesome.
Got a female variation, Hell Girl.
Okay.
Um,
The Undertaker under there.
the Undertaker. Need to get that to Mr. Tiger. He's been waiting for that.
Gotcha.
Here's some. Still working on this Christmas commission. I don't know if you can see that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So Nightmare Before
Very cool.
Christmas. So I'm still got stuff I'm working on, man.
Yeah, I'm about to start trying to plot out my next script, which will be for Ben's be what, Tricks and Treats number 4?
Yep.
Yeah. I this was gonna be a little different for me because I have scenes and elements germinating in my brain, but I don't have the full plot yet. So
What's the subject going to be this time, Ben?
We're doing. It's kind of a sci-fi horror, so it'll be like a Man on the Moon type thing.
Ah. That's nice.
got a little feedback on Tricks and Treats number 2 last night, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they really enjoyed it. Wanted to. They're wondering, like, well, what else have you done? So
Very cool.
done a couple of things. As a writer, that's what I like more than anything, when someone actually freaking reads the story. So.
Oh, wow.
Although I had one guy tell me that he liked the Rachel Strand comics, but he didn't care for the art, and I nearly went across the table at him. You got a problem with Johnny Johnston, you got a problem with me, and I suggest you let that marinate.
Some fans we just don't need.
Yeah.
I don't need that toxicity.
That's right.
That said, we accept all paying customers. So
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, man. Well, guys, I guess it's getting pretty close to the end of the show.
Yep. You guys ready to call it?
I nearly had to cancel this week because I nearly got shot in the face yesterday. That would have made it hard for me to
talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, an extra hole in the head will do that.
Who almost shot you? Harlow?
Angelus.
Oh, no.
We were giving the crossbow a test run, and he was having trouble with the safety, and he was getting a little frazzled, and he started asking for help. And instead of just asking me for help, he turns, and I'm staring down a crossbow bolt. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And point it down. All right. you need help, you point it down and ask me for help. So his anxiety was a little high just watching it. So when he actually started to shoot it, he was
Hey, Jason, you want to show your drawing so far? One more time before we go.
See, Don,
Absolutely not. No.
Let's see.
I didn't make it very far.
Do it.
All right, let's see if I can put this on the screen here. This is what I got so far.
it's like,
Good. Good. Looks good, man.
nice. Yep.
Nice.
Very nice.
Turtle power.
Turtle power.
TURTLE power.
Why should I make a book that's called Mutant Ninja Turtles with them as adults?
That'd be the next thing.
Right?
See, I just figure it's actually with the lifespan of a turtle, the age range that classifies as teenage, it just gets spread out. So if they can milk that longer. My story, I'm sticking to it.
Oh.
All right, guys. Well, I guess we'll call it. And it was fun. Fun chatting, fun drawing. There's Jason.
Yeah.
Anybody wants this Harley Quinn, message me. If not, it's probably going in the trash.
Uh-oh.
Where would it go on the trash?
We need to play a Sarah McLachlan song and talk about how this drawing's going to go in the trash and we need to save it. So message Johnny now.
Aaron will be over here looking for it.
Yeah, Aaron will probably be over here the next day or two. He'll go through my trash. I got a death stroke in the trash now, and he'll probably get that one out of there. I guess I better spit.
I don't understand why you put any of it in the trash. Like, you know, like even your worst drawing, you can just like save it for when we actually do have conventions again. Just toss it on the table and someone's going to buy it.
Oh man,
It will happen.
Or you can just give it away to a kid at a convention.
Yeah, give away to a kid at a convention.
I might do that. Whenever that happens.
You start to give it to like it's like an 8-year-old kid. Like, you like Harley Quinn? He's like, I like the slutty Harley Quinn. Why is she so cool?
I want to say, Aaron, get off your knees. Quit pretending you're a kid.
Oh, man.
Then he follows it up by ripping it in two, but except he didn't really rip it.
No, that doesn't sound like him.
Hi, Aaron, if you're watching this.
We love you, Aaron.
We love you, Aaron.
Hola, Aaron.
Oh man.
Well, you guys enjoy your pizza.
Yeah,
So you're not
Jason,
gonna go-
Johnny, enjoy your pizza.
Is there a way where people don't enjoy their pizza?
Only if they feel guilty about eating it.
Ah,
We're gonna feel guilty by eating it.
I don't think I've ever felt guilty eating pizza.
Well, my youngest son will get super excited when Amy brings home pizza, but then he'll immediately complain about whatever kind of pizza that she bought. So
It's America. He has freedom of choice.
he's a little spoiled and high maintenance. So
What is he like? He's just a cheese pizza eater, or
he's just a cheese pizza eater unless we get cheese pizza. They don't pepperoni. So I'm a Canadian bacon guy. So
well,
guys, enjoyed chatting with you guys again. Love getting to see you guys work.
Right.
So
I love the topic.
you guys have a
Cartoon. Love talking about cartoons. It was a good
Yeah.
topic.
Yeah, it was a fun show.
Yeah.
Good, Todd. I don't think we're going to stream next week, so we'll catch you in 2 weeks if you guys are available.
All right.
yeah, should be.
I want to give a shout out to Kent Clark for the profile picture that I have going here.
Shout out to Kent
Yep.
Clark. Kent, if you're watching, we love you, man.
Shout out to Kent just in general.
Go, Kent.
One of our boys.
Yep.
So,
That is his real name.
yeah,
In
I
2
should be back
weeks.
in. I should be good for 2 weeks. So
Okay.
All right, guys. We'll see you in 2 weeks. You guys have a good weekend.
Guys.
all right,
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Take it easy.
All right.
Non-toxic masculinity.